Okay, we back, and as promised, I got a tier list for y'all. So we're gonna do something different today though. We're going to do 2 tier lists, right, for the Supernova. And of course, it's with Sanji today. So one is gonna strictly be strength, right? Just how strong these characters are, how strong I think these characters are based on what we've seen so far. And of course, spoilers, because things have come out recently, so I don't wanna spoil y'all. Let's talk about that really quickly. I think Kid is about to be elevated to another level based on what he's about to do with Big Mom. So I'm gonna try not to be biased with that and scale him going forward and, you know, scale him based on what I've seen so far. I mean, Killer, he made light work of Hawkins. Those are some beautiful panels, bro. I can't lie. They're going back. Anyway, we'll talk about that in the breakdown. But off of that, we're going to talk about character as well, because there were some character moments in this recent chapter, especially for Kid and Killer. It is somewhat Oda acknowledging that they are probably his second favorite, right? He's like, yo, I like y'all. Not as much as Luffy and Zoro, but I like y'all. You feel me? I thought that was dope as well. But without further ado, wait. Sub to the channel. You enjoy content like this lets me know, right? Sub to the channel, drop a like, turn on post notifications, all that shabazz, what? All that jazz, all that, whatever. Do all that, and let's get to the video. So first, we're gonna do the power scaling, right? So power scaling first, then we're gonna do character, because I think both are important. So we're not just gonna be one-sided here, okay? We're gonna have a lot of fun. Anyway, let us get to it. So the first character on the list, we have Apoo, and this is again the power scaling section. Apoo, I don't know, it's weird with him because I think his devil fruit is cool. Battling against sound, it can present issues, especially when you have to use your hand or plug your ears, taking away one of your senses. I definitely could pose an issue, you know what I'm saying? So Apoo, I'm gonna just say that he's probably, I'm comfortable putting him in C right now. Again, based on where I put the other characters, it could change, but probably C. I mean, I think his devil fruit is cool. He has, no cap, Apoo has crazy durability that a lot of people ain't talking about. Durability and endurance. Like, he's been hit by every goddamn other Supernova, I swear to God, in Wano so far. And he's still up and at him, fighting against X Drake, which the X Drake, I'm not sure, bro, I gotta look at you a little differently, but yeah, Apoo definitely in C. He may go up, not sure yet. Bonnie, regards to strength, we don't have much to go off of. All we know is she got a Hack's devil fruit and she got some nice ass titties. Other than that, I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm gonna say probably right now D. When I think of the Supernova, I put her at the bottom of the totem pole. I don't have her competing with any of the others. Maybe once we see more, it will change my outlook on her. Even in Stampede, it's like, that's not canon, so I don't even know why I'm mentioning that. Either way, Bonnie's in D for me right now. I mean, she could go up, but right now it's in D. Capone is an interesting one because Capone is a defensive fighter and he always fight with his niggas inside him. I know how that sounds, but that's what it is. Capone, I don't know if he does one-on-one fights, and he's a defensive monster. He took multiple hits from Big Mom while being in Big Father. Some may say Big Daddy. I don't know. I think C is apt, just off of his defensive capabilities. So I'm gonna put him in C. I mean, right now, we've seen in Wano so far, people taking attacks from Yonko and getting back up. So as impressive as that was back then, I think some of the Supernova right now, they've surpassed that expectation, where back then it was like, damn, Capone taking damage from Big Mom. That's crazy. He almost died. He said it himself. But, Kid and Luffy, they've been taking attacks. I mean, even Law with, using Curtain, they've been taking attacks from Yonko. So can't leave out Zoro, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, C. C for right now. Is he stronger than Apoo? I'm not sure right now. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. X Drake, I had some high expectations for X Drake, man. I thought he was probably the strongest Toby Ropo. I mean, I could still think that. Cool devil fruit. And again, the last time I make a Supernova tier list was based off of Sabaody. So now it's been a long time since then, and we've gotten a lot more. So now with X Drake, it's weird because right now he's fighting Apoo. And if we use anime and different things, can do anything with Sanji. I think I'm comfortable with C for now. Again, I'm putting so many people in C, but it's really tough. So right now, C. I'm gonna put him above the other two though. I'm gonna give him that respect, put him above the other two. Should he get that? Put him in C right now, right? Hawkins. Well, Hawkins was a character, I think, in the beginning of Wano, I was like, yo, this dude is crazy, right? With his devil fruit powers and just how smart he was. He seemed to be on top of things. I really enjoyed Hawkins towards the beginning of Wano. He was on Law's heels the entire time, right? He had nails stuck in Zoro, all this different stuff happened. I was like, okay, Hawkins, he's a problem. And he still is a problem. I don't want to overstate what happened in this recent chapter, right? Where it's like Killer rocked his shit. However, Hawkins had a particular motive, right? He was definitely trying to antagonize Kid, or Killer rather, using Kid. And typically he has 10 straw dolls on him, I believe. Based on how easily Killer was able to overcome Hawkins, man, it didn't seem like a challenge once he basically used Kid's arm. It is what it is. So I'm putting him in C. I'm putting him in C for now. Probably right behind Apoo. I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna go back through it and look at the characters, but just give me some time. Let me bide my time real quick. All right. So now we got Kid. As y'all know, I've had high, lofty, whatever you want to call it, expectations for Kid, and he hasn't lived up to them. I think the recent chapter where Kid, that look on his face, it means business, right? Law's been holding it down. I think it's Kid's turn to shine. I think this is the opportune time for Oda to show that Kid is a monster. I mean, we already know he's a monster, but show that Kid is to be respected. I mean, a lot of people in the community, they just like, man, he's just there, right? Using Metal Claw every day. We don't know how strong he is, but he's just not on Luffy's level. And I think that sentiment still reigns true. So while I put Kid probably towards the top of the Supernova, other than Luffy, I think for right now, he's an A. This could change based on the coming chapters and what happens with Big Mom, whatever he do with her big ass, bro. Things could change and Kid could be elevated. I'm not gonna lie. We've been holding out hope. We've been waiting for a long time for this metal boy to do his thing. Well, Kid, now's the time. You got Big Mom right in front of you. The internal dialogue was majestic, in my opinion, just because it's adding so much to the character, which we're going to do the power scaling, well, the ranking of the characters in a little bit. But man, right now he's an A in regards to strength. Killer, I think a fan favorite. I think in regards to character and strength, Killer probably has had the highest jump in Wano. Highest jump in Wano in regards to this tier list. I think in regards to strength, Luffy is, just ballooned. But I think perception-wise, we viewed Killer as, he's right there, probably beneath some of the captains. We had him beneath Hawkins, Apu, and X-Drake for sure. Probably on the same tier with Capone just because, he's not a captain and he hadn't shown anything in comparison to what Zoro had shown. So it's like, he cool, he got some pretty ass hair, but other than that, we don't even know what he looked like. We know what he looked like. Hair's still pretty, but that boy bad. That boy is nice, bro. Hawkins had no chance against Killer. Even with his dolls, I like the matchup, even though they're both pretty blondes. What I like about it is that Hawkins is more so a technical fighter, right? Where Killer, he's a brute. He uses his spinny things and he was able to use smarts to overcome Hawkins, which Killer, from the most part, from what we've seen from the Kid Pirates, he's a thinker. He's the brains of the operation. Where I said it before that Killer and what he presents to Kid is more like what Rayleigh presented to Roger than any other right hand. Save Ben Beckman. He's that for Kid. So for me, Killer, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. From the rooftop stuff, he's a B for me, bro. I'm sorry. Like the sound attacks, his techniques, he's physically a monster. Oda is showing him in this light for a reason. Him along with some of the others are gonna be leaders of the new school. He's a B for me right now. I mean, other people may slide up to B, but right now he's a B. Let's get to Law. Law is tough. Law is tough because Law has a potential to be A, S, whatever. And honestly, like, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. The Law that we saw in Dressrosa, this is not Law right now. I think Law right now, bro, you could argue he's not being appreciated for everything he's done so far in Wano, especially on the rooftop. Bro, do you know how many people he was moving around? He saved the lives of everyone by moving Zoro out the way just the right time when that combined attack was coming at him, and the fight moving around Luffy, moving around Zoro, just playing support in the perfect way. And he has overwhelming firepower with Gamma Knife, Counter Shock, Injection Shot. He has so many different things, right? So I think in my heart of hearts, I feel like Kid is going to be showing that he's stronger than Law. But I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Based on what Law's shown so far, I got him right there in A, and I'm putting him slightly ahead of Kid. I love Kid. I love Law a little more, obviously. That's my nigga, right? But y'all can't dispute everything Law's shown so far. It's been dastardly, bro. I'm sorry. I mean, again, I'm trying to be fair and go off of what we've seen and not what's projected. I think by the end of one, I'm gonna be like, yeah, Kid's stronger than Law. But right now, I'm taking Law. Luffy, easy. There's no competition among these guys. A Kid could be Law in a different circumstance, in an alternate reality. Luffy right now. We don't have to go through everything that Luffy has done, his growth. It's exceptional. All right. So it is what it is. Luffy is an S. Sanji. Now, this is a different thing for a tier list because a lot of people are like, okay, Sanji is not typical for a tier list. You don't include Sanji in things like this. Well, for me, I do. Okay. I'm gonna include Sanji here. And the reason why is that I think Sanji, with a few different things playing out, he'd be a supernova. Just off the strength of his name. And I think in regards to requisite strength, you can't argue that he doesn't belong, right? So I just feel like it's always fun as well just to throw Sanji in the midst of this group. Plus we got 2 blondes already. What's another one? You feel me? So Sanji, this is with the raid suit. This is with the upgrades to his body, this bloom that he's having, the regen, the strength. That's the thing as well, right? Where Sanji always had overwhelming strength, but his body was not modified. It wasn't working yet. Sanji should technically have gotten physically stronger. The enhanced strength did not kick in technically until now. The strength that Sanji had seemed to have been trained, right? So now enhanced strength, regen, durability, the raid suit buff, his techniques beforehand, his martial arts, his Diablo Jambe, Sanji might honestly easily be at the top of B. There are not too many supernova I'm taking over Sanji right now. There's not too many I'm taking over Sanji. I'm putting him right above Killer. There's not too many. Just how I look at it right now, okay? Uruj, out of all the supernova, I think even next to Bonnie, he's the least we know in regards to fighting capabilities. Sabodi, that's all we got. He had fantastic dialogue or narration for Kaido. In regards to strength, from his, his karma, that's what we're assuming it to be because he takes damage, basically uses it against you. I'm gonna give Uruj some love here because he took out a commander, suit commander. We can't forget about that. That's some context that we may have forgotten. Took out Snack, right? So I'm gonna put him in B. Now, finally, last but not least, we got Roronoa Zoro, Yonko Hunter Zoro, Supernova Zoro, King's Hockey User Zoro, Ashura. All right. I'm gonna chill. For Zoro, Roof Piece was fantastic. Roof Piece was marvelous, even. I think everything he accomplished, you could argue he was the MVP, right? Where that's gonna be a video we make really soon. Who's the MVP of Wano so far? It's a lot to get through, but who's the MVP of Wano so far? It's tough, because he's definitely around the top of the top. Is he stronger than Law? It's hard to put Law above Zoro. Like, it's really tough, but then it's Law, right? I think, based on what I've seen so far on the rooftop, I'm putting Zoro at the top of A. It could change. It could change. I think it's really close between these three. Kid could definitely go above Zoro by the end of the arc, but so far, I'm sorry, based on what I've seen, Zoro's above Law and Kid. Again, Law and Zoro, for me, they're really close. They're really close, but Zoro just gets the slight edge because he's Marimo. You feel me? So now some revising. Is anything I want to change? Well, I'm tempted to move Hawkins down, but his power it's impressive. Bonnie's just there because she's a woman. No. We just don't know enough about Bonnie. Capone's defensive capabilities. X-Drake and Apu, they're really close. Aruj, he gets the respect from defeating Snack. Killer, I mean, look at what he's doing. Look at what Oda's showing. He's definitely around the commander tier. I mean, I put Killer above Snack right now. Sanji, we know what Sanji can do. Again, Kid could prove that he's stronger than Law and Zoro. That's how I had it coming into Wano, but Roof Piece, woo. Some may argue Killer was more impressive than Kid on the rooftop. So that's where we are right now in regards to power scaling. Now let's get into juicy character. These are just what I think about the characters and how they've impacted the story. It can be objective. I think it's not an objective list. It's just my personal list in regards to characters that I think are like the best characters in regards to the Supernova and how they have been so far. I'm sure this list is going to differ more than power scaling, but that's what makes it even more interesting. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to it. Now, Apu, as a character, he's been solid. I think he's been interesting. I think what I like is the twist of his character. I mean, the fact he's serving on the Kaido, how mischievous he is. When I think of great characters, One Piece, Apu is not at the top of the list, obviously, but I think he's been solid. I think he's presented obstacles that's necessary for some of these characters to grow. So as a character, I enjoy him, but I mean, overall, I would say he's solid. I'd probably give him a C as a character. Sometimes comes off as a bit annoying, but funny. So, but a C. Bonnie, I mean, there's a lot we can get into here. I think her character probably, it's not really about Wano. It's about the stuff with Kuma, what we saw from her with Blackbeard and Kainu, where there's more there, right? From what we've seen from her character, she's a loud, boisterous woman. She liked to eat, but then there's a caring side for Kuma because it seems like they go back. They have a lot of history. So we got to wait and see. So far, I think she's right there with Apu. I'd put it probably above Apu so far, even though we've seen more of him. But I think as a character, I enjoy her slightly more on screen than Apu, even though it hasn't been that much. For Capone, might be A. Like, Capone as a character, he presents this figure, right? He's a mob boss. He's a father. He's decisive. He's about his business. We talked about just things he was doing before he was a Supernova. He was about that action. So I think Capone rose a lot because we found out more about him. And I think what he presented as a character was amazing. Like, I really started to like Capone in Whole Cake Island. So for me, as a character, Capone is an A. X-Drake is one of those brooding characters that's just, you know, he's fine. He's cool. I was expecting more. I feel like a lot of his character aspects, the best points comes out when you find out he's a double agent, but then he doesn't really shine too much. It's still the same thing. So I think in regards to character, I'm putting him on C, right above Apu. There's nothing exceptional about X-Drake's character. We know about his backstory, we know what he's been through. He's raised by Sengoku. It's just, he's fine. Hawkins is a B for me. I think Hawkins presented, again, obstacles for the Straw Hats that I loved, but I think just how malicious he was at the beginning of Wano, right? How he was chasing down these niggas to the ends of the earth. And he was smart, he was calculated, and I really appreciate those characters. Those characters that are willing to think through things, and his ability, of course, presents dichotomies, right? So for Killer, this dude was in a situation where Hawkins used his captain's body. So now Killer has to figure out, how do I defeat Hawkins without hurting my captain, who I care dearly for? You know, my friend, he's my partner. So now it's like Hawkins, you know, for a character like that, he would be much higher if I would have liked him to accomplish more. Accomplishments in character, they're not mutually exclusive, but for a lot of Hawkins developments, it still feels like he's a minion, and that caps out his character. Like, minions can be good. Doflamingo, for the most part, was Kaido's minion, but he was so much greater than that. For Hawkins, I feel like in regards to goals, how Oda placed him in this box of fate, and basically everything is decided on fate. You don't step outside that box at all. It kind of limits Hawkins because he turns into this dastardly villain. Like, oh, that was your fate at the beginning. But I think he's really interesting, so a B. Eustace Captain Kid. I don't know what to tell y'all. Kid is a mixed bag. I love the archetype. I love what I saw in Sabaody, his dialogue about the celestial dragons, him living his truth. I think as a character, he has so much potential still. I enjoy characters like this because they know who they are, they accept who they are, and they show who they are. They don't hide it. And Kid is that from the jump. The character moments from 1029 jumps him a bit for me as well, showing that he has internal dialogue. He has the feelings of, damn, I gotta do this or I'm a joke. I would have liked a bit more in regards to things he's done so far, going up against the other Yonko, how he's internalized that struggle, you feel me? Just how he feels about that. And so far, I'm honestly gonna put him on B. It's something holding me from putting him on A, because I still enjoy Capone. I think Capone as a character he was a breath of fresh air for me. Kid, I gotta see a little more. He could definitely jump to A, but I gotta see a little more. Killer, he's up there. I think he went up, of course, in Wano. From the Kamazo stuff, he reminds me of young Rayleigh more than any of them, right? Again, Zoro is what Rayleigh should be. That sounded weird. Zoro is the parallel of Rayleigh for the most part. He's going to be one of the pillars that support the Pirate King, the biggest pillar, if you want to argue that. But Killer, in regards to what he presents to Kid, is much like what Rayleigh presented for Roger. He was the brains. He provided a lot of maturity, a lot of patience, based on what we've seen from Roger's crew so far, that they needed. He was the person that was basically parenting Buggy and Shanks on the crew. And for Killer, he seems to be that level-headed guy. Him being unlucky, all that different stuff, it adds to his character for me because he's had to overcome things. Him, again, willing to sacrifice for his captain, it's adding to it. It's not necessarily nothing happened, but it shows you what he's willing to do. We haven't had enough internal dialogue. So I think off of that, I'm putting him, I think he's fine here because Hawkins, I like Hawkins. I think Hawkins is a better character so far, and Kid, but he deserves to be a B. Law, automatically S for me. I think there's so much with Law. We know a lot. And I think just his struggles, how he continues to navigate throughout the world, what he's done with the world government, becoming a warlord, using them to achieve his goals, honestly using Luffy to get what he wants, but then becoming enamored with Luffy, not losing himself too much. Of course, we call him, this nigga's pretty much a straw hat, but one of the best characters in One Piece. When you think of those characters, Law is up there for me. I think we've seen development. We've seen just how raw he can be. We've seen caring. We've seen so much from Law. I think his character arc is not over. It could even be elevated even more, especially if sacrifice plays a part. I mean, he's already sacrificed for the cause so many different times. Like, one of my favorite moments for Law was in Wano when Shinobu was accusing him and his crew of betraying them. He's like, what? All right, bro, I'm gonna work on my own at that point. He went, figured it out, apprehended Hawkins, and he's been making moves over and over. So for me, Law is an S. Luffy's a difficult one because Luffy's the main character of the story. So Luffy carries One Piece. So it is, you can't put Luffy in anything other than S because the story revolves around Luffy and his demeanor, his character. It is the foundation of One Piece. So just off of that, Luffy's an S. You know what I'm saying? Sanji, wow, A. You could argue Sanji above Law, but I'm gonna put him in A. I like Sanji more than Law, but I acknowledge Law as probably the better character. Maybe, baby. I think there's some things holding back Sanji's character. The hitting woman thing, that's built in. That's a part of him. I do think sometimes it presents some obstacles that I feel like are unnecessary, but I understand why it's important to him and his character. The woman thing, it's just sometimes it can be a turnoff, but it is what it is. How far it's gone post time skip brings him down to an A as opposed to an S. I think it's just become too much. Where some may argue this is his defining trait, but he's a lot more than that. I think he's easily in the top of A. You know what? He's an S. I'm sorry. He's an S. I put him right behind Law, but I think he's a great character. I think he's a fantastic character. Urouge. Actually, yes. Urouge. See, outside of just being a meme, I enjoy him when he's on screen. He's funny. He's fun. He's become like one of those characters in the One Piece community that like people like to meme, people like to talk about. Not much more to it. We don't know much about him, but even with that, I enjoy him on screen. He's funny. He's funny, and I think he's a lot less annoying than, he's not annoying at all. And I think a poop can be annoying. X Drake is just there. Bonnie, we need more. And Urouge is fucking Urouge. So Zoro's up there in A. Zoro and Sanji interchangeable. I'm putting it like this because I plan on having a video explaining the characters and why both characters, how they differ and how they are the same. I think for them in particular, it doesn't matter the order, but they're both amazing characters. I put Luffy and Law ahead of them, but they're both pretty great. Honestly, I'm thinking about putting Apu in D. The thing what Zoro presents is that headstrong nature and a character that's willing to do whatever it takes. And the thing is, Zoro, even with as headstrong as he is, he has moments where he cares for people. We can't forget about Kiku when her arm fell through. Zoro went crazy, right? So it's subtle, but Zoro's character and the things he does, but it's there. I think you have to look deeper. For someone like Zoro that's typically a lot more stoic than someone like Sanji, it's hard to discern. But again, both these characters are so fantastic in my opinion, interchangeable, but both really damn good. But yeah, this is my tier list. I'm sure you guys probably just expected some strength shit. Nah. came with the strength, right? Of course, then we came with the character and just how I view these characters based on how they've been presented in the story, right? So guys, here we are. We've reached the end. Give me your thoughts. I will link the tier list below. How do you feel about it? Power scaling wise and character wise, how do you feel about them? I like the fact I did both because some people don't care about power scaling, right? It presents an opportunity for people that don't care about power scaling and some people that don't care about character, both to interact and see how it overlaps, right? Looking at both tier lists, character versus power scaling, how does it differ, right? Because Luffy is an S for both. Law, Zoro, and Sanji, they're not an S, obviously. Capone is a lot higher in regards to character as opposed to strength. Kid drops in regards to strength. Killer is pretty much on the same thing. Hawkins goes up and Aruj drops as well. So that's interesting, right? But guys, give me your thoughts. Tell me the next group you'd like for me to do this for, because we got admirals, we got warlords, we got a bunch of other groups we can do it for. But just, leave your thoughts below, right? Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.